Moving. I think he's found a sweet spot over there where it's not as bad. I'm couched up here next to this little quiet spot. Did you feel it taking you? Okay, now you can tip it, Zach, because I got you in the camera. That is a lot of energy right there.
So when Dustin and I were kayaking that day, I remember having a conversation with him about finances, and I remember being at that time, I told Dustin that I felt like I was stuck with my finances. I had a little bit of student loan debt, had a car debt, had a little bit of credit card debt at that time also, and being at that time I didn't really make a whole lot of money, and I just felt like I was stuck and I couldn't get anywhere with my debt. And I'm always thinking like, well, how are people out here buying houses and all this kind of stuff? I was stuck in those rapids just like I was stuck in my finances.
And you were putting everything into those rapids. You know, I cheated. I went up the side where the rapids weren't, and Zach he was young, right? You still are young.
Right.
And you're like, I can do it, right? And so you put everything you had. I mean, you were working as hard as you could, but you ended up moving backwards instead of forwards.
That is
and
correct.
Sometimes we feel that in our struggle. We feel like, man, I'm putting everything into this I can, and I'm working as hard as I can, and you start to get tired, worn out, and why keep going? So what was the turning point in your battle? So Staci's up here with you, and I think she kind of segues into this a little bit, right?
Yes, she does.
So for your battle with finances and what you were trying to do, right, what was the turning point for you guys?
So I remember thinking at this time also that I remember thinking that if I was just to be able to make a little bit more money, I'd be able to get out of debt faster. Well, I did start making a little more money because I got a couple pay raises, but then my car payment doubled. How's that work? Because I did not have a plan for my money at all. And so the more money I had gotten, the more money I just ended up spending. And it didn't always go towards the debt because I didn't have a plan at all. So when Staci came into my life as well,
Gave you more debt.
she did. Yes, she had way more than I did. But because she actually went to school, I didn't for that long. But her church introduced Financial Peace University, and I was a little bit skeptical about it at first. I was thinking, well, how is this really going to work? So I didn't really think a whole lot of it, but we took it, and for me, that was a turning point. I remember thinking that I'm just so tired of being in debt. I'm just so tired of it and getting nowhere. So then her church introduced Financial Peace University, and so we took it, and I was mind blown. For me, that was just mind blowing. It made perfect sense to me.
Yep. And one of the Dave Ramsey statements is you can't out-earn stupid.
No.
That's one of his statements. Right? And so Dave Ramsey's from Tennessee, and he talks like he's from Tennessee, and he communicates.
He tells it like it is.
And he tells it like it is, like can't out-earn stupid, right? Yep. And so you guys, you get engaged, and you start working towards let's plan, let's map together. Staci, you didn't really have a financial plan either.
No, I lived like paycheck to paycheck. Like I had enough money to pay my bills, but it was always like I did a lot of shopping sprees, so obviously I didn't have money all the time.
And
but
Starbucks, I hear?
Yeah, Starbucks. Well, it's gotten worse now, but it's I still go to Starbucks.
But it's budgeted.
Yes, but
Yes.
budgeting. Yes.
So talk to me a little bit about this process, right? So, a lot of times people hear money in church and they get skeptical and they're like, oh, the church just wants my money. But like the Bible actually talks about biblical principles.
Yes.
And so as Dave Ramsey walks through, so one person living paycheck to paycheck, another person saying, I want to make better decisions, but I don't have a plan. Other people come into, and like, I have a plan, I have a system, like stuff's working, okay? So what biblical principles got infused into his teaching that helped you guys kind of say, you know what, let's give this a try?
One of the more important ones that I can think of is Dave Ramsey likes to reference Proverbs 22:7 a lot, and that is the verse that says, the rich will rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender. And that pretty much means that, like, when you think about it, when you have a car payment or credit card debt, you have to give your money to those people. You don't get to choose what you want to do with that money because you owe somebody money. So as long as you owe money to somebody, you're going to be slave to them. So when you don't have any debt, you can put your money wherever you want it to go. It's not in God's plan for us to be a slave to other people.
Yep. MasterCard, right?
That's right.
They own you. Is one of his. I owe. It's off to work.
I go.
Is, he just keeps putting these, and it's the principle to hit that pause button. And so nothing in life is easy. So tell me why it's worth taking this class and learning to manage your money. Maybe a little bit better. Maybe evaluating how you're managing. Maybe for the first time ever to create a plan. It takes work. It takes effort, right?
It does.
But why is it worth it? What would you say to people sitting here this morning, and also to the 3 million people watching online? What would you say to those people why they should take this class?
I would say, so for me, I didn't really have the opportunities or the money to go to school and be able to have all this cool stuff that all these other kids have. So for me, I want to be able to provide my kids with a better life than what I had. So for me, getting out of debt is the first step. And then for me to then be able to pay for my kids' college so that they can then go to college debt-free and be able to then better themselves as well, because I mainly want to give them the opportunities that I didn't really have.
Sure.
I would say that the getting out of debt part is really crazy. So once you have a plan, because I'll be honest with you, I had like $3,000 worth of credit card debt, and then at school and whatever, my car, I had no idea that you could pay it off in like a year if you had that. Dave Ramsey also says the gazelle intensity. But that to me was amazing. Like when we paid off my credit card like that, as soon as we had a plan, I was like, oh, I want to keep going. So I'm a very goal-oriented kind of person. So once we hit that, I wanted to keep going. So you see the progress. If you buckle down, do the work, you will see the progress. So that amazed me.
I would just say it is so worth it. One of Dave's sayings also is, live now like no one else, as in don't be going on vacation. To pay off your debt, like pass on the vacations, pass on going out to eat. Live like no one else right now so that later you can then live like no one else and be able to help people financially, be able to give money like no one else because you have the money like no one else does.
Yep.
So that's how I want to live my life, and I can't do that if I'm in debt.
So again, Zach just plugged it, and I just want to share with you something exciting about financial peace. The reason we're plugging it, we want to get it lined up and be able to see it happen. If you go online to Financial Peace University, you will find it costs $100 to take this course, to get the content, to get the tools, to get the video training. And so one of our sister churches, as we were talking to them, they invested to be able to do this with their church, and Financial Peace said, here's 20 free memberships that you can give to somebody, right? And so in talking, they said, hey, would your church like our 20 free memberships? So what our opportunity is we're able to gift this experience. It's $100 if you pay for it, but if we have 20 signups, what we're going to do is be able to gift this. And I want to make sure people don't sign up and then don't come. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I really felt convicted. I want to take Financial Peace University. And then you take a spot and then you don't come to any of the classes and you don't benefit from it. So what I'm asking to make sure we're screening out people that are really serious about this is I would like you to shoot a quick email. Just give me a couple goals. You're like, you know what? I would really like to take the class because, right? Maybe you're like Zach. You're stuck in a kayak, or your kayak flipped, or you're like 5 miles down the river and you're lost, right? I mean, you're like, this is why I would like to take the class. And to make a commitment to say, I'll be at the 8 weeks. It's 8 weeks long. It is online, and you can watch it online, but we're going to watch it here together, spread out in this room around tables, and then have some dialogue afterwards. And it's done very well. It's not something that they haven't ever experimented with. This has like been refined and refined and refined to a point where it's ready to go. You'll be able to hit the ground running with action plans, with steps, and to be able to experience financial peace. And I believe that's a gift that God tells us about in the Bible, saying, hey, listen, manage your funds well, have a plan, work hard, earn your money, right? And to process that. And so if you are one of the 20 people here that's saying, I would like to take it, I want you to write just couple goals. You don't have to write a book, right? But I just want to make sure that you're invested and you're going to commit to be a part of it. Because once we give you the sign-on, you can access everything online. You can access everything through the web. But that's one of our 20 then we're going to be using up. So I want to make sure that the people that want it most get to participate and benefit from it the most.